A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1 live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Joad Abdin.
And I am Hashni Patrana. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Former IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon arrested by the CID over charges linked to the attack on the Aragalaya in Galface. Notice issued to Rajitha, who is evading the bribery commission, to appear in court on the 29th of August. 7-hour statement recorded from former Minister Manusha over alleged illegal acquisition of assets. Daily loss of postal strike exceeds 40 million rupees. Is the strike a conspiracy against the state? Complaint filed with the CID. We cannot contend with the mastermind. A revelation from former President Maithripala. Grand finale of the Sri Lanka Wanita Bimana held in Stein Studios with much grandeur. Anudhi Gunasekara wins the award for Most Popular Woman in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka non-compliant with World Anti-Doping Code. World Anti-Doping Agency warns.
On to our top story tonight, former Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakon was taken into custody this afternoon by the Criminal Investigation Department following his naming as a suspect by the Attorney General in connection with the 2022 Galface protest crackdown. Now, the arrest comes after the Colombo Fort Magistrate Nilpuli Lankapura today rejected an anticipatory bail application filed by Tennakon, who had sought a court order to prevent his arrest, citing a credible threat of being taken into custody as part of the ongoing investigation into the incident.
Former Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakon, through his legal counsel, had submitted the anticipatory bail application to the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court, arguing that there was a risk of arrest in relation to the probe into the attack on peaceful protesters during the 2022 People's Struggle, also known as the Aragalaya. After reviewing the facts presented, the magistrate ruled that the court was not satisfied with the assurances that releasing the suspect on anticipatory bail would not hinder the ongoing investigation or undermine the authority of the court. Accordingly, the magistrate announced the rejection of the bail application. Following the court's decision, CID officers arrested the former IGP at his residence in Mirihana this afternoon. He is scheduled to be produced before court tomorrow.
Case file.
The Colombo Chief Magistrates Court issued a formal notice to former Minister Rajitha Senaratne instructing him to appear before the court on the 29th August.
The notice was issued by Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali Jayatunga under Section 61 of the Code of Criminal Procedure following a motion filed by the Bribery Commission. During the hearing, Assistant Director of Legal Affairs Sulochana Hettiarachchi, appearing on behalf of the Bribery Commission, stated that in order to obtain an order under Section 61, supporting evidence must be presented. Accordingly, 2 investigating officers were summoned to provide testimony regarding an alleged irregular project involving the Kirinda Fisheries Harbour and the use of the Valley Goa fishing vessel. The officers, Chief Inspector Tushara Sampath Pushpakumara and Inspector M. Vimalaratna of the Bribery Commission's Investigations Division, testified that the investigation was initiated based on an anonymous complaint. They revealed that the project had caused a financial loss of 26.2 million rupees to the government of Sri Lanka. Following preliminary investigations, former chairman of the Fisheries Corporation Upali Liyanage and former Fisheries Minister Rajitha Senaratne were named as suspects. The investigating officers informed the court that the first suspect, Upali Liyanage, was previously arrested and released on bail under court orders. However, the second suspect, former Minister Rajitha Senaratne, has reportedly evaded the Bribery Commission. Investigators informed the court that although a notice was issued on the 7th August requesting the former minister to appear before the commission and provide a statement, he failed to do so. Instead, his legal counsel submitted a prescription slip citing illness in lieu of a formal medical report. Due to his continued absence, investigators obtained a search warrant and inspected 5 locations where the minister was believed to be staying. However, he was not found at any of those premises. Investigators further stated that the inability to obtain a statement from the suspect has hindered the final stages of the investigation. Therefore, they requested the court to issue a formal notice under Section 61 of the Criminal Procedure Code, compelling the suspect to appear. After reviewing the evidence, the magistrate issued the order accordingly.
Case file.
The Colombo High Court scheduled the next hearing for the 10th October in the ongoing corruption case against former Investment Promotion Minister Lakshman Yapabewardena and former Director General of the Board of Investment Jayantha Edrisinghe. The case filed by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption includes 5 indictments against the 2 former officials. The charges relate to an incident on the 19th November 2014 during the second presidential term of Mahinda Rajapaksa, where it is alleged that funds from the BOI were used to publish additional newspaper advertisements in 11 publications, causing a financial loss of 1,748,877 rupees and 76 cents to the government. The prosecution is expected to present 15 witnesses and 21 documents as evidence in the case.
Case file.
The Colombo High Court scheduled the next hearing of the case filed by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption against former Minister Sarana Gunawardena for the 1st October. The case, which was taken up before Colombo High Court Judge Pradeep Aberatna, proceeded with the recording of witness testimony on behalf of the prosecution. The charges relate to Gunawardena's tenure as chairman of the Development Lotteries Board in 2006. He is accused of causing financial losses to the state by procuring vehicles under a lease scheme in violation of government procurement procedures.
Former Minister Manoj Nanakara was summoned this morning to appear before the Illegal Assets Investigation Division. The summons was issued in connection with an ongoing investigation into alleged unlawful accumulation of assets.
Former Minister Manoj Nanakara arrived at the Legal Assets Investigation Division around 9 a.m. today. Later in the afternoon, he left the premises after providing a statement that lasted over 7 hours.
ප්‍රශ්න ඇහුවා මම උත්තර දුන්න බොහොම හොඳ වැඩසටහනක් මොකද මේක හරහා ඇත්ත යථාර්ථය රටට හෙළිදරව් කරන්න පුළුවන් වේ. බොහොමත්ම හොඳින් සැලකනවා මේ කණ්ඩායම. ඒ වගේම අදින් මේක ඉවර වෙන්නේ නැහැ. තවදුරටත් මට දන්න කියන තොරතුරු ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න තියෙනවා ඉස්සරහට.
Newsfirst with the people.
Samagi Janabalawegya MP Chaminda Vijayasiri warns that if the party fails to approach its internal restructuring with proper understanding, it could lead to a split within the party. Now, he made these remarks during a special media briefing held today in Colombo.
There is a very clean and necessary leadership within the SJB that must be shaped for the future of the country. In doing so, several major positions within the party need to be reorganized. We are not afraid to say whether certain individuals should step down or be removed. Sajid Premadasa knows better than us how the United National Party was destroyed. What happened to the UNP must not happen to the SJB. Instead, we must turn this into a future for the country. That is why I believe the leader Sajid Premadasa should pay close attention to some of the appointments he has made, those he believes will win him, the party and the country. We respect seniority. We know the party was built on their sacrifices and discipline, but the party needs victories. That's why we propose that many who were overlooked should be given second-tier roles. This proposal has already gained acceptance in society. We have no issue putting this forward. What's important is that the SJB moves forward with a new team in the right direction, on the right path, without repeating past mistakes. I believe that from today onwards, society and the country must see the necessary restructuring taking place. This is not division. It is a proposal that can create the strongest unity. But if these truths are misunderstood and decisions are made based on distorted understanding, then division will occur. That division will ultimately serve the agenda of political conspirators. That is why we urge the leadership and the party to take responsibility and ensure this does not happen.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena claims that the current government, the tri-forces and intelligence agencies are all aware of the identity of the mastermind behind the Easter Sunday attacks. He emphasized that Sri Lanka does not possess the capability to confront this individual.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena made a claim while attending the inaugural ceremony of the Asian Geopolitics, Sustainability and Peace Council. The event was attended by political party leaders and senior diplomatic representatives.
අපිට ලොකු අපරාධ සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා සිද්ධ කරලා තිබෙනවා මාව
We have faced major crimes. My government was destroyed, my reputation ruined, and my party collapsed, all as part of a larger scheme. That's why I went to the Criminal Investigation Department to understand how this happened. But the truth is, it's not something that can be openly discussed. Despite all the searching, everyone knows who the mastermind is. Every government knows. The military knows. The intelligence services know. But even if we know where the mastermind is, we don't have the capacity to fight him. So, under these circumstances, we are heading toward a very difficult and painful situation.
The strike, launched by postal trade unions, citing several demands including overtime pay and the fingerprint-operated attendance system, continued for the third day today. Deputy Postmaster General Shamisha De Silva stated that the postal strike is causing a daily loss of around 35 to 40 million rupees to the department.
The strike is centered around 19 key issues including overtime pay and the fingerprint-operated attendance system. Postal trade unions are engaging in this strike against a backdrop where leave for postal department officials have been cancelled. A total of 23 trade unions are engaged in the strike, including the United National Postal Officers Union, Sri Lanka Freedom Postal and Telecommunication General Officers Union, United Postal and Telecommunication Employees Union, Sri Lanka Freedom Postal Workers Union and the Sri Lanka Postal Workers Front. The strike has led to the closure of major postal facilities, including the Central Mail Exchange in Colombo, causing widespread inconvenience to the public.
මේ ඇඟිලි සලකුණු ගැන ප්‍රශ්නයක් කරගෙන මේ වැඩ වර්ධනය කිරීම නම් ඉතාම අසාධාරණයි. මොකද එක්කෝ මේකෙන් මේගොල්ලන්ට අවාසියක් වෙනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ශ්‍රමය වංචා කරන්න තමයි මේ වැඩේ කරන්නේ. ඉස්සර වගේ මේ වැඩ 3ට ගෙදර ගියා පොතාස්සම් කරලා එහෙම කරන්න බෑනේ දැන්. ඒවා තමයි හුඟක් අයට රිදිලා ඇත්තේ ඉතින්. හරියට රාජකාරී කරන අය නම් ඔය සිංගප්‍රින්ට් එපා කියලා කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. අපි තාත්තේ ශ්‍රමයේ කැමති නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ. ඇත්තටම මේගොල්ලෝ හරියට රාජකාරී කරනවා.
While the public expressed such views on the strike, the former chairman of the Lunugamwehera Pradeshya Sabha of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna said that the government is not interested in resolving the issues of postal workers. The former chairman stated this opposite the Central Mail Exchange.
They give 13,000 postal workers only 600 rupees for their uniforms. Look, I got this one sewn for 600 rupees. My wife sewed this for me. The minister is lying to the whole country. They call it the smart postman. Don't spread lies. We don't have a pair of shoes, but we are going to work.
These were the views expressed by other trade unions on the strike.
So far, neither the Minister of Mass Media nor the Postmaster General has provided a constructive discussion for this. The unions are ready to go for a discussion at any time, even today or tomorrow, 24 hours a day. We are asking to the working class of this country. They have put a barrier on it and are asking for 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 5 to be paid, which is not in the budget circular. That is why we are asking for it to be removed.
These are the views expressed by the Deputy Postmaster General on the strike that has been ongoing for 3 consecutive days so far. We have truly acted on the existing issues. If they agree on the matter of overtime and fingerprint machines, I don't think there really is a problem here. Therefore, I kindly request them to stop this strike. This is causing a great loss to the public. Our daily loss fluctuates between 30, 35 and 40 million rupees. We can resolve the issues and problems we have by further discussing them. Meanwhile, the Ape Paripura party filed a complaint with the CID regarding the trade union action. They claim that they suspect the strike, which has been ongoing for 3 days, is a conspiracy against the state.
Deputy Minister of Labour Mahinda Jayasinghe affirmed that unreasonable labour demands will not be entertained.
Some protests are neither fair nor justifiable. As a government, we are always open to fair criticism and reasonable protests, but we will not yield to unfair or unreasonable demands, no matter the pressure. The people entrusted us with the responsibility last September and November, and we must stress that we will fulfill that responsibility faithfully, regardless of any protest.
Anandi Gunasekara was named the most popular woman in Sri Lanka at the grand finale of Sri Lanka Vanita Bhimana 2025. The much anticipated Women Empowerment Initiative organized jointly by Newsfirst and NDB Bank. This prestigious event was held with much grandeur at Stein Studios in Ratmalana earlier today.
Sri Lanka Vanita Bhimana 2025 Dayanagana Vanita Balakenmuba.
In a celebration of courage, talent and national contribution, the Sri Lanka Vanita Bhimana 2025 was ceremoniously launched for the 5th consecutive year at the prestigious Stein Studios in Ratmalana.
Sri Lanka Vanita Bhimana 2025 අවසන් මහෝත්සවයයි මේ
This nationwide empowerment movement, jointly organized by Newsfirst and NDB Bank, is the culmination of a year-long island-wide campaign aimed at identifying and uplifting women entrepreneurs, especially those representing remote and rural communities. Chief Executive Officer of MTV, Yasarat Kamal Siri, addressed the gathering.
Starting something is difficult, but taking it forward is even harder. I believe NDB Bank and Newsfirst have carried this challenging task forward for 5 years. This is not something one team can do alone. It has now become a collaborative project brought to life through the unity of multiple teams.
A large pool of talented women from across the country were evaluated by an esteemed panel of judges to identify the most outstanding among them. The provincial competitions were judged by a panel led by Professor Priyanka Dunusinghe, head of the Department of Information Technology at the University of Colombo. The institutional and professional sector competitions were overseen by a panel chaired by Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Colombo.
We
were given complete freedom to make our judgments thanks to the consistent support from Sirasa Media Network and NDB Bank. This allowed our panel to deliver impartial and fair evaluations. I believe this has enabled us to establish a strong foundation year after year. We saw a level of preparation among participants that was far superior to previous years. The presentations were of high quality, and even among our judges, the selection process was highly competitive. Especially this year, choosing finalists for the national competition was extremely intense.
The invaluable contribution of the judging panel to Sri Lanka Vanita Bhimana 2025 was formally recognized during the event. Winners of the provincial level competitions were handed out by senior foreign diplomats, including the High Commissioner of New Zealand, His Excellency David Pine, High Commissioner of South Africa, His Excellency Sandil Chalk, charged the affairs of the High Commission of Canada, Gwen Tamil, First Secretary Political of the Indian High Commission, Navya Singla, and Second Secretary Political of the South African High Commission, Jeanette Mfefu. Women nominated for Vanita Bhimana were evaluated under categories including arts and literature, education, youth leadership, social service, sports, digital entrepreneurship, emerging entrepreneurship, and small-scale entrepreneurship. Those who won in their respective categories at the provincial level qualified for the national competition. From among them, 8 exceptional women were selected for national honours. A special special segment of this year's event also marked the beginning of a new initiative recognizing women who, after serving abroad, returned to Sri Lanka and launched their own businesses, becoming contributors to the economy rather than dependents. The first three honorees under this new category were Lakmali Vidhana Patirana, S.W. Dhammika Priyadarshani and L. Sudhagari. Kalu Medira Singha, the Chief Executive Officer and Director of NDB Bank, addressed the gathering.
We have introduced many banking services targeting women, pioneering the theme Banking on Women. This program, which was born through the NDB Aralia financial plan, has progressed significantly with the introduction of Vanitha Bimana in 2020. The Capital Maharaja Group stood firmly with us to develop it successfully and disseminate it to the masses. We have contributed to the timely economic and national task of developing 50 women entrepreneurs in the export industry by 2030. We have also launched a series of programs to guide female entrepreneurs. We are proud to announce that a panel of exemplary resource persons have joined us in that task. We very respectfully invite all female entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka to make the best out of this program.
In a heartfelt tribute to women who have dedicated their lives to advancing society, 5 exceptional individuals were presented with special recognition awards named Abhinandana Awards for their enduring contributions across multiple disciplines. The honorees were veteran actress Kalashuri Manike Attanayaka, renowned actress Vasanthi Chaturani, veteran sportswoman Deshabandhu Tilaka Jinadasa, veteran filmmaker Anoma Rajakaruna, and veteran dancer Kalashuri Vasuki Jagadishwaran. One of the most anticipated moments of Sri Lanka Vanitha Bimana 2025 was the announcement of the most popular woman, a title determined by public vote and awarded to a nominee who captured the hearts of the nation. This year, 5 women were nominated for the honour. Anudhi Gunasekara, Kanchana Anuradhi, Lochana Jayakodi, Tarindi Fernando and Shanudri Priyasad. Among these finalists, Anudhi Gunasekara emerged as the winner of the Most Popular Woman Award.
Anudhi Gunasekara! Congratulations, Anudhi.
Sri Lanka Vanitha Bimana 2025 Daya Nagana Vanitha Balakenmuba.
Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Shivan Daniel, addressed the gathering.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, when we dig back to the past, we're replete with examples of women taking the lead. Even today, it is women who hold and bind our economy together. We heard almost $7 billion of foreign exchange will be earned by the hands, the hearts and the courage of our women working for us overseas as migrant workers. It's the women who pluck tea that contribute so much to our economy. It is the women. And so just as a bird cannot fly with one wing, just as much as men might think that we run things and we lead things and the earth will not rotate without us, the fact of the matter is, men and women, we must work together. We must see a future together. And if we are to see this dream that we share of a modern Sri Lanka in which opportunity exists for those with dedication, capability, capacity, and the will to move forward, then women must be celebrated. And all of the young women watching Vanitha Bimani tonight on Sirasa TV, live or on YouTube, must think to themselves, yes, we can. We can not only achieve our dreams, but we can achieve the dream that we see of a modern Sri Lanka. Together we can.
20 courageous and accomplished women representing corporate and professional backgrounds were formally recognized for their outstanding achievements.
Newsfirst. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka's apparel exports are expected to surge with the UK trade overhaul with effect from 2026.
Sri Lanka's garment sector is set to benefit from sweeping trade reforms under the UK's Developing Countries Trading Scheme or DCTS, which will come into effect in early 2026. The British High Commission in Colombo has announced a liberalised rules of origin that will allow Sri Lankan manufacturers to source up to 100% of garment imports from any country while retaining tariff-free access to UK markets. Previously, Sri Lankan exporters faced restrictions requiring significant manufacturing processes such as fabric production and garment assembly to occur domestically. The new rules eliminate these constraints, aligning Sri Lanka's apparel trade terms with those of lower income countries like Bangladesh under the DCTS's comprehensive preferences. Sri Lanka's enhanced preference status under the DCTS already provides substantial tariff reductions. The reforms further strengthen this position by simplifying compliance and expanding sourcing options. Additionally, the UK has introduced a new Asia Regional Accumulation Group, allowing Sri Lanka to source imports from 18 regional countries, including India, Pakistan and Indonesia, with those imports considered as originating in Sri Lanka for tariff purposes. The Joint Apparel Association Forum has welcomed the UK government's announcement of liberalised rules of origin under the Developing Countries Trading Scheme or DCTS, describing it as a major breakthrough for Sri Lanka's apparel industry. It noted that this represents a significant upgrade to existing trade arrangements, reducing restrictions on processing and aligning Sri Lanka's apparel sector with the same rules available for countries enjoying comprehensive preferences under the DCTS. Secretary General of the Joint Apparel Association Forum, Johan Lawrence said, quote, "This reform is a timely recognition of Sri Lanka's role as a resilient and responsible sourcing destination. By removing restrictions on input sourcing, the UK has levelled the playing field for our manufacturers, giving them the flexibility to deliver greater value to global brands and UK consumers alike." End quote. The Joint Apparel Association Forum sees this as an opportunity to expand trade, strengthen industry, competitiveness and secure more jobs and livelihoods across Sri Lanka's apparel sector. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce welcomes the UK government's liberalisation of rules of origin under its Developing Countries Trading Scheme or DCTS, set to take effect in early 2026. In a statement, it noted that this important step reflects the UK's continued commitment to greater trade openness and flexibility, offering Sri Lankan exporters enhanced access to one of their key markets. It added that the reforms, which allow Sri Lankan apparel manufacturers to source up to 100% of imports from any country while retaining tariff-free access to the UK, will provide a timely boost for the apparel industry, Sri Lanka's largest export sector. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce noted that the expanded regional accumulation arrangements across 18 Asian countries will further strengthen supply chains and open up opportunities for the value-added exports. The 38th Annual Conference of the Organisation of Professional Associations of Sri Lanka was inaugurated in Colombo.
The inauguration ceremony of the 38th Annual Conference and the 4th Apex Award ceremony of the Organisation of Professional Associations of Sri Lanka was held in Colombo.
The present government and the administration has brought about one important thing that matters to all of us, both Sri Lankans and foreign investors. The theme, the name, confidence. We have a renewed confidence about the economy. It's not only Sri Lankan investors, Sri Lankan businesses who are taking a fresh look at the way how country is being operated. Foreign investors are recognizing, foreign counterparts, governments are recognizing, multilateral agencies are recognizing, and several engagements based on the confidence they have based on the way how the country is governed. With the approach of zero tolerance for corruption, not limiting that one to a mere statement, literal implementation of that one, either through the judicial system, government administration, the way how citizens are engaged in the decision-making process, it is demonstrated beyond a word, the zero tolerance for corruption. Sri Lanka will rise up again. Our economy will move into the next level. And for the first time in the history, in the Ministry of Finance website, there is a section allocated for the future projects that we are going to implement in 2026 and beyond, 27, 28 spilling into. We never had this situation in the past. Previously, Sri Lanka has been a breeding ground to facilitate unsolicited proposals, where value was drained out from the economy. Financing facilities were taken at rates that could not be afforded. As a result, a mountain of debt was created. But that's all history. The financial discipline that we have at hand, it is our responsibility as state officials to make sure we implement them in a manner that we are able to take this country to the next level. This is why I said the confidence of the foreign investors is back again. ASPI is recording historically highest ever numbers, index values. That is a testimony to the confidence. Banking sector asset quality is improving. NPL is coming down. SME sector is provided with relief to move forward. And once again, credit is flowing into the economy. So these are the benefits of stability. But that's just the start. Based on the stability that has been created within the system, our objective is to grow in the short, medium to long term, to bring about that growth.
The event was attended by distinguished guests, eminent professionals and a large gathering of participants representing diverse fields.
Asian Geopolitics, Sustainability and Peace Council, a new think tank initiative, was inaugurated in Colombo today.
The official launch of the Asian Geopolitics, Sustainability and Peace Council, a platform dedicated to fostering strategic understanding of geopolitical issues, advancing peace and promoting sustainable development across Asia, took place in Colombo, paving the way for a new era in regional policy dialogue. The launch brought together leading scholars, diplomats, policymakers and civil society representatives from across the region. The keynote address of the launch was delivered by former Foreign Secretary, Ambassador Ravinatha Singha. The Council works with the aim of providing in-depth research, policy recommendations and collaborative initiatives to address the complex geopolitical, security and environmental challenges of the 21st century. Asian Geopolitics, Sustainability and Peace Council will continue its outreach through roundtable discussions, public seminars and confidential policy briefings to support national decision-making with global insight and local relevance. Thailand's cabinet has approved to hire 10,000 Sri Lankan workers to replace Cambodians. Thailand's cabinet has approved the hiring of 10,000 Sri Lankan workers as it tries to address a labour shortage caused by Cambodian workers returning home in the wake of a deadly border conflict between the two countries. Thailand's ageing population and shrinking workforce has forced it to rely on at least 3 million registered foreign labourers across the agriculture, construction and manufacturing sectors. Thailand's Minister of Labour told reporters that more than 30,000 workers from Sri Lanka have already registered and 10,000 will be sent to Thailand in the first stage, adding that it would also allow workers from Nepal, Bangladesh, Indonesia and the Philippines to apply. A long border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia last month boiled over into the worst fighting in decades, with at least 43 people killed and over 300,000 displaced on both sides of the border. The two Southeast Asian nations have now agreed a fragile ceasefire agreement. Before the conflict began, over 520,000 Cambodians worked in Thailand, accounting for 12% of the country's foreign workforce, according to official data.
Today marks the second day of the Newsfirst spiritual pavilion set up close to the Nallur Sivaguru Adinam in Jaffna.
Newsfirst inaugurated a special spiritual pavilion yesterday in celebration of the annual festival of the Nallur Kandaswami Kovil in Jaffna. The pavilion hosted various competitions aimed at engaging the youth. This morning, a large number of participants took part in the fancy dress competition. Many also showcased their skills in the speech competition.
அழகின் முருகன் என்று 100,000 சூரியன்கள் ஒரே காலத்தில் ஒளி வீசுவது போன்ற பேரழகையும் தெய்வீக வடிவத்தையும் உடையவன் முருகன்.
Many competitors also showcased their skills at the devotional song competition. A screen test and voice audition was also conducted at the Newsfirst Spiritual Pavilion, providing a platform for young participants interested in news reading.
இந்த திட்டத்தை விவசாய அமைச்சும் கடற்தொழில் அமைச்சும் இணைந்து அபிவிருத்தி திட்டங்களை செயல்படுத்துவதில் அனைத்து தரப்பினரதும் மீனவர்களின் நிதி நிலைமைக்கு ஏற்ற வகையில் வருடாந்தம் புதுப்பிக்கக்கூடிய
Welcome to the Newsfirst zone at this year's Nallur festival. So talking about our Newsfirst zone, there are a lot of activities that you can take part at this year's special zone done by Newsfirst. So on to my right is the studio where you can take a screen test, and if you want to be on TV, you can take a screen test and come here, and tomorrow is the last day as well. You can take a part of the screen test, and there are a lot of competitions and there are a lot of cultural performances, a lot of things happening here at the special zone done by Newsfirst at this year's Nallur festival. And also you can take pictures with the host who is at this year's special zone as well. So tomorrow there will be a lot of award ceremonies and there will be a lot of performances, a lot of cultural performances. This is an experience because right now as well there are a lot of people filled here at this year's special zone done by Newsfirst. As you can see, there are a lot of people gathered here. I am Divakara with Mahinda Gamage for Newsfirst.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has arrived in Kabul to meet his counterparts from Afghanistan and Pakistan. It is Wang's first trip to the country since a surprise visit in March 2022.
China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed Wang Yi had arrived in Afghanistan on Wednesday. The ministry had earlier said he would travel to Pakistan later in the day for a 3-day visit that will include talks with Ishaq Dar, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister. According to Geo News, a Pakistani media outlet, the Kabul meeting will focus on counter-terrorism efforts and extending the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, also known as CPEC, a project under China's flagship Belt and Road Initiative to Afghanistan. The 3-way meeting takes place against the backdrop of intensive trade and security discussions between Kabul and Islamabad in recent months, signaling a warming of ties that were once shaped by concerns about terrorism. Although China and Pakistan have not formally recognized the Taliban government, Beijing has acted as a facilitator behind the scenes. Wang's Kabul trip followed his first visit to India in 3 years, which included a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where he pledged deeper cooperation on a range of issues ranging from the long-running border dispute to economic ties. Modi is also scheduled to visit China at the end of the month for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, his first trip in 7 years.
And on to your update on sports. Sri Lanka's national flag may be barred from flying at major international sporting events, including the Olympic and Paralympic Games, if the country's anti-doping authority fails to meet reinstatement conditions within the next 12 months. This warning was issued by the World Anti-Doping Agency.
The World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, confirmed that effective 19th of August, the National Anti-Doping Organization, or NADO, of Sri Lanka has been declared non-compliant with the World Anti-Doping Code. This decision follows months of warnings and a missed deadline to implement critical legal reforms. The move comes from a March 2025 decision by WADA's Executive Committee to place SLADA on a compliance watch list due to deficiencies in its legal framework. Despite being granted a 4-month extension to rectify the issues, SLADA failed to adopt the necessary amendments by the July deadline. WADA issued a formal notice of non-compliance on the 28th of July, which SLADA did not contest, making the decision final and enforceable. As a result of the ruling, SLADA loses its WADA privileges until reinstatement. This includes SLADA representatives are ineligible to hold any WADA office or any position as a member of any WADA board or committee or other body, including but not limited to membership of WADA's Foundation Board, EXCO, standing committees and any other committee. SLADA is ineligible to host any event hosted or organized or co-hosted or co-organized by WADA. SLADA is ineligible to participate in any WADA Independent Observer Program, WADA Outreach Program or other WADA activities. And SLADA will not receive any WADA funding, either directly or indirectly, related to the development of specific activities or participation in specific programs. SLADA's representatives shall be ineligible to sit as members of the boards or committees or other bodies of any code signatory or association of signatories until SLADA is reinstated. Sri Lanka may not be awarded the right to host regional, continental or world championships as well as other events organized by major event organizations until SLADA is reinstated. SLADA must satisfy the outstanding critical requirement and comply with all the above mentioned consequences of non-compliance to be reinstated. If SLADA has not met the conditions of reinstatement described above within 12 months of the entering into effect of the consequences of non-compliance, by midnight Eastern Standard Time on the 18th of August 2026, the following additional consequence shall be automatically imposed. That is, Sri Lanka's flag will not be flown at regional, continental or world championships as well as other events organized by major event organizations, including the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games until SLADA is reinstated. The Sri Lanka Anti-Doping Agency has issued a statement confirming that the amended bill aimed at preventing the use of performance-enhancing substances in sports has been approved by the Cabinet for the third time. The bill has now been forwarded to the government printer for publication in the Gazette. According to the statement, the government expects to present the gazetted bill to Parliament promptly for approval. It also assures that during this period, Sri Lankan athletes will not face any restrictions in participating in international competitions.
And that's a wrap of your news for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.